Hello everyone, welcome to my video. In this video, I'm going to talk about function in Python coding. So in my previous video, I showed you one scenario. This is the scenario here. I have 8 employees in my company, and here is their information. Each row inside this table represents one employee's information. So age, major, location, and income. So what I have here is that the first 4 rows are information for my 4 existing old employees. And the last 4 rows are for the new employees. And I'm facing a situation here. I want to actually update my old employees' age because I entered their information last year. So this age information needs to be updated. But I don't need to update the age information of my 4 other new employees. So that is the first task I'm facing right now. And the second task is that after I update the old employees' age information, and then I want to create the average age of the old employees. So there are 2 tasks there. So for the first task, what I did last time is that I used a flowchart to show my logic, right? So I would like to go through each age and then determine whether that age is among the first 4 data points. If no, that means the age is for a new employee. I'm just going to keep the original value. And if the age is for an old employee, then I'm going to determine whether it's a string value, like refuse to answer this one here. If yes, I'm going to keep the original value. But if it's not a string value, it's a number, then I'm going to add number 1 to its current value to update the employee's age. So that's kind of the logic there. And here's my coding last time. And I use this multiple lines of coding to create a new variable called age underscore new and to update its value. And finally, I can get a new list of age information. You can see that all the first 4 employees age information has been updated. So 20 has become 21 there. Let me show you here. So 20 has become 21 here. 18 has become 19, and refuse to answer has been kept the same because it's a string value, and 40 has been increased to 41. And the rest of the 4 age information has not been touched because they're for the new employee. So this may look good right now, but I think the information here is quite messy because there are multiple lines of coding. So I want to kind of organize them under one section, and I may keep using the output of these multiple lines of coding later. So what I can do is that I can copy paste them onto a function. So let's see here. If I copy here and then I paste them onto this part under the def, which stands for define. So then I can actually create a whole function there. Let me show you. So this is a function, and this is a function defined by def. Def stands for define, so it means it's a function. So we start with def and then space, and then this is the name of that function called age underscore increase. So you can name your function any way you want, but of course you want to name your function in a way that reflect the meaning of the function, or basically what the function can do for you. So this function helps me to increase the age of my existing employees automatically. So I just name it age underscore increase. So then you can see the function name has a parenthesis after it, and that defines it's a function. And also don't forget the column there. So that's the basic format. You have the def, you have the function name, age underscore increase, and parenthesis, and column there. Okay. So then everything within the function should be indented, starting with the first line here, age. I create a new variable called age and assign a list to this variable age. And then I create another variable called age underscore new and assign a vacant list to this variable. And then I create another variable called I and assign number 1 to it. Then basically I'm just going to go through each item inside the age list, just iterate through this list and determine if the item is among the first 4 or not. If it's among the first 4, then I determine the type of that item. and see whether it's string value or not. If it's not string value, like a number, then I'm just going to update the item value by 1 and append the updated value to this vacant list age underscore new, right? So that's basically what we do here using the conditional statements. But if the item, if it is a string value, then we're going to follow the else path. If it's a string value, then we just append the string value directly to the vacant list without updating the value. So that's basically what we're doing here. So then after we have create, we have update, adding more values into this vacant list. What we're going to do is that basically for your function, you want to return something as your final product out of your function, so that when you call your function later, you can use that product. The product is coming out of your function. So you want to return something. So basically what I'm doing here is that I'm using the whole for loop and the conditional statements, the whole for loop to build out this age underscore new list. So that's what I'm doing here, to build out this vacant list, to add more value into this list in order to create a new age list. So after I create that age underscore list, and finally, in the end of this function, I want to return this variable. So that's my final product out of it. So after I return this, I define the function, I can use it. How to use it? To use this function, you type the function name, age increase, and don't forget the parentheses. If you don't include the parentheses, you cannot call the function. So I call this function, and basically when you call this function, you're gonna get this age underscore new variable. That's what here means. And let's do it. Print this function. So print function basically going to print out the final product of this function. So let's see here. So basically you're going to get this new list, and this new list is the final product of this age underscore increase function. And in other words, this new list is the value of this age underscore new variable. That is because age underscore new is your final product of your function. And you can keep calling your function later to use it. So it's more convenient, just organize every information underneath this function. So let's see here. Previously, when we define a function, we don't have anything inside the parentheses. But actually, when you define a function, you can have your parameter. So I do have a parameter here. I call it age. So let me show you how to use the parameter. So imagine previously, I don't have any parameter. I just defined my age inside my function. I assign value to this age variable. But now I just remove that line and everything else remains the same. So I just remove that age value. So now I don't have the age value, and the age needs to be defined later. Okay, so everything else remains the same. Then how to use that function? So to use it, we still have to type out the function name age underscore increase and parentheses. Okay, so let me show you here. Let me just remove everything and do everything again for you. So age increase, you have to call the function age underscore increase, and then the parentheses to call the function. But do remember this time we do have a parameter called age. So we have to add some value into this parentheses to define age. You have to tell Python what is the value of age, that parameter. So here, the value I want to assign to the parameter age is a list, this whole list. If you remember, that list is this value that you give to the age variable here. But now the age is our parameter of the function. And here you just want to, when you call the function, you directly assign a value to the parameter. So when you call any function, you have to assign value to the parameter if the function has parameter. And then you can print out the whole part and see what you're going to get. It should be the same result. But you may wonder why we need to have a parameter here. Well, the reason is that if you have parameter, you can change the value of the parameter when you call the function. So it makes your job easier and flexible. So imagine that when you get more new employees information in the table and you keep getting more rows in the table and you'll add more information, you have more age information from any other additional employees like 47, 98, 100. That's too much. Okay, so 18, 19. So I can add more values to my list to define this age parameter, right? So if I run this whole function again, I'm gonna get a new list. So the other values have been included. I can just keep updating the value of this age. I can keep defining the value of my parameter. So that makes your job more flexible. So if you compare the two versions, the first version, we don't have any parameter. We basically define age inside the function. But once you design, you have defined the value of age inside your function. You cannot change it when you call the function later. So that makes it less flexible. Okay, I'm going to show you another example how to call function inside another function. So if you remember, I have another task is that after I update the year of my old employees and I want to calculate the average age of their of all my existing employees. So first I create this function age underscore increase. So that's basically the function that I have in the first box here. And using this age underscore increase function, I can get a new product called age underscore new. And age underscore new is going to be the list that stores all the updated age information from my employees. And then I'm going to create another function called average underscore age. And this is going to be another new function. You can see it started with the def word, define means. And this average age function will give me the average age of those existing employees. That's why I named it average underscore age. So first of all, let me show you how to read my second function. So I have this line of code. You may wonder what that means. So let's read. If you see any equal sign there, so just read from the right side to the left side. So we start from the right side, age underscore increase, parentheses. Well, that tells you it's a function. We're calling the first function here. See that this is highlighted? We're calling the first function. When we call the first function, we get the final product. So basically, the highlighted part is equal to this age underscore new. So we are using the final product of the first function, age underscore new. And then we have an index range. We want to only use the first four elements of that age underscore new list. We just want to focus on the first 4 employees. That's what this whole part means. We're going to get a slice of that list. And then we assign the whole value to a new variable called age underscore new. And then we're going to print out age underscore new just to show ourselves what it looks like. And then we create a new variable called age underscore existing, assign a vacant list to it. And then we're gonna iterate through that age underscore new list and determine whether each value is a string or not. If it's a string, we ignore it. So using the past here, just ignore it. But if it's not a string, it's a number, we append that item to the age existing. So make sure that this list only contains the age information, the numbers. And finally, after we use the for loop to create that age underscore existing variable, which is going to be a list, then we're going to use the sum value of that list divided by the length of that list to get the average of that list. And we can print out average here. It's all part of the second function. And then we're going to return the average variable. So that's how. And to use the whole lines of coding, since we have 2 functions here, And the second function is based on the first function. So we just need to call the second function. So once we call the second function, we're going to get the print value here. We're also going to get the final product of average. So let's see here. If I call the function and I print it out, so let's run the whole part of coding. So let me show you how to read the output here. We have three outputs here. The first output actually, let me show you. The first output is the value of the age underscore new variable. When we call the second function, we're also going to run this print function. We're going to print out the value of age underscore new. That's this line of coding. And the second value, 27.0, is speaking to this print output. Okay, when we call the second function, we're going to print average. And then lastly, when we call the whole function, we're going to get the final product average. And when we print average again, we're going to get another 27.0. So if you don't want to repeat the value of average, you can remove that print and just run it again. You're just going to get 27.0 one time only. So that's how we can use function to organize our information in a better and flexible way, and also how to call one function in another function. Thank you for watching.